Hello and welcome to Sydney CBD, where Ronald and I and Jono behind the camera are at the Smart Energy Conference.
That's right.
First time out of Adelaide, Ronald?
No, I'm from Toowoomba.
Of course.
Yeah, so I've been out of Adelaide for a long time.
How's your Smart Energy Conference 2019?
I'm having flashbacks to Japan because we've got a desk lamp shining light in my face. Reminds me of all those times I was arrested in Japan. Why are you here? Why are you in this country? Where did you get this bicycle? Why is there uranium in the bicycle? Anyway, we don't need to go into that.
Awesome. So I've been here longer than you.
Yep.
Yesterday I went to UTS Sydney, University of Technology Sydney, all-day presentation on controlling grid voltage using nothing but solar inverters and sometimes a battery.
Tell me more, Finn.
So they managed to, it's about VPPs, virtual power plants.
Uh-huh.
So everyone knows about the ones with the batteries. The thing which was interesting, they were on a SWER edge of grid situation.
So that's like a line in a rural area.
Yeah, rural New South Wales somewhere, and one in rural Victoria.
So when you're out in the country, you've just got this one line to you, a single earth wire.
Single wire earth return.
Single wire earth return.
Yeah. So they pumped out 65 kilowatts of battery power and managed to raise the local grid voltage 3%.
And that is good?
That's amazing.
All right, excellent then.
And the other thing I learned, which is a bit technical geeky, is I'm not going to explain the difference between real and reactive power. One, because I'm not 100% sure myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I don't totally intuitively understand it myself, despite being an electrical engineer, which is a bit embarrassing. Do you want to explain it, Ronald?
I tried to get my head around it, and I failed. So no.
Anyway, they found that by pumping out this thing called reactive power instead of real power, they could control the grid voltage using solar inverters only, and they lost less kilowatt hours than they did using real power, which, if you're an electrical engineer, is quite interesting. The other thing they learned is that with Fronius inverters, even though it doesn't say anything about this on the spec sheet, they can use 100 watts of real power to pump out 3 kVA of reactive power.
Okay, so 30 to 1.
30 to 1.
Yeah.
They weren't expecting that.
No.
So there's a lot of opportunities in the future to actually harness all the solar inverters that are causing a lot of these overvoltage problems to actually fix the problem, and batteries as well. So it was interesting. I'll probably write a blog post about it.
Yeah, yeah. As long as I don't have to, because that reactive power stuff is hard.
It's hard. I'll have to brush up on real and reactive power and vectors and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the conference started today.
Yep.
What were the highlights for you, Ronald?
Everyone has half-cut cell panels.
Now they're everywhere, man.
Yeah, everywhere. It's like a plague.
There's some pretty dodgy ones as well, weren't there?
Finn, Jono has better eyes than I do, and he pointed out a flaw in one, but I thought it looked fine. You know, a little touch-up paint. It's fine.
Okay.
Maybe you shouldn't put paint on your solar panels, but anyway.
Anything else?
No. There's a few new battery systems around. It's no longer the Wild West days, maybe. What really stood out? I sat in some interesting talks.
What was the most interesting?
Oh, well, I'll start off with what the Finnish Standards Organization.
Finnish?
Are they Finnish? Or Norwegian, sorry.
Oh.
Norwegian Standards Organization, DNVGL.
Not my countrymen.
Sorry. They're the same thing, aren't they?
No, Finnish people are much cooler than Norwegian.
Oh, right. So...
Or Dutch.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, and so do Scandinavians see a difference between Australians and New Zealanders?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Anyway, they said world primary energy use will peak around 2035 and then will decline.
Yeah, right.
And that is Impressive. Well, very well, interesting. So the primary energy use is everything from... It's the raw energy. It's not the electricity you get after you've burnt your natural gas or coal or whatever. It's the raw energy coming from burning fossil fuels. And since we'll be burning less fossil fuels, primary energy use will go down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 15 years away, according to them.
Not long.
No.
That's hopeful. Anything else?
We still won't hit our climate targets, from the Paris Climate Accord, unless we do extra work, do more than we are at the moment to reduce emissions.
So we're not going to avert climate catastrophe?
Well, we don't know what will happen, but yeah, we need to do more to be safe.
Oh, I'm depressed now.
Sorry.
Anything else?
There's ice cream at the store nearby, and that always cheers me up.
Cool.
I had a lot of cheering up in my life.
What did I learn today? Rick Brazali, who's a very smart dude when it comes to wholesale prices and stuff, he thinks that the feed-in tariff is likely to reduce even if wholesale prices go up.
And that's because?
That's because solar's going to become less and less valuable, and you're going to have a dynamic, probably a dynamic feed-in tariff, or they're just going to, even if it's a flat feed-in tariff, it will be based on, obviously, solar, which only is generated in daytime. And there's so much solar around, the value of electricity during the day is going down, even if the wholesale price on average goes up. But he also thinks, which wasn't really news, but wholesale price is going to go down in the medium term, short to medium term.
Yes, that's what the future markets predict.
So wholesale price goes down, payback gets worse for solar, and it gets worse for batteries unless it's accompanied by the feed-in tariff dropping.
For batteries, yes.
For batteries, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, feed-in tariff dropping makes payback worse for solar as well.
Yeah.
But it's such a good feedback, such a good payback now that I don't think it's going to.
No. And by the time that happens, solar will probably be even cheaper than it is now.
Yeah, you would have thought so.
Yeah.
He also had a good quote that the battery industry is, and I quote, one disaster away from industry collapse.
Yeah. I can see that. Say you get a nice house which goes up in flames due to a faulty battery. Could be people die. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Some of these battery chemistries, if they catch fire, they'll be like a bomb going off. Yeah, so I think we just need to focus on the electrical safety, which I don't... there's all this focus on the retailing side of things. Yeah. No. That's a lower priority than electrical safety, which we haven't solved yet. There's some dangerous systems going in.
Yeah. You can do things like get yourself a lithium iron phosphate. That helps compared to some other lithium chemistries. Or you can go red flow, because that puts out fires.
Fire retardant.
Fire retardant, made from fire retardant.
Yeah. I saw a talk by Bruce from New South Wales Fair Trading.
Oh, there's a lot of Bruces in Australia.
There is. Who reminded us that you need, in New South Wales and a few other states like SA, you need an electrical contractor's license to even sell solar. And you would not believe how many conversations we have with installers that want to come onto SolarQuotes who don't realise that. They think they can sell a solar system on their personal electrical contractor's license. So that was interesting. And they're going in New South Wales mandate that even if you're working on off-grid systems which are extra low voltage, you have to be an electrician. So
yeah, that's interesting. On one hand, it's great for the innocent because there'll be less fires burning houses down off-grid. Not that there's many anyway. On the other hand, freedom and liberty and I want to burn my house down. So bad news on that front.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. I don't know what to think about that because I'm pro-liberty, but also pro people not frying themselves. Yeah,
well, other people are involved, so
if
you live by yourself, I think it should be fine.
Okay. What else did I learn today? The national electricity rules, apparently it's written in, this is Bruce from New South Wales Fair Trading, but this applies to the whole country.
Yep.
The people that are contracted to change your meter have to do it within 15 days. Or they get bashed by...
Woohoo, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
My God, what a change.
Or they're in trouble.
Yeah.
The CSIRO working really hard on standardized battery testing, so you can actually have some kind of clue as to whether your battery's going to last.
I can't even tell the difference when you go to the supermarket to buy a disposable battery. I can't even. Which one do you buy?
Well, you just buy the cheapest one, don't you?
Ones which I know will perform well. Not just any cheap one, the cheap one which does well. And I've tried battery chargers, everyone. I burnt out 2 sets of them. So I think I've harmed the environment more by trying to recharge batteries. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I learned, Edge Electrons, who make a voltage regulator that if you've got high grid voltage, they solve that problem for the household. So they'll regulate the voltage down to 230 volts. So your inverter doesn't switch off when you've got high grid voltage. I finally learned how they work and how they comply with AS4777, and I always suspected that they solved the micro problem of your grid voltage but made the macro problem of grid voltage worse. I won't go into how it works now. I'll write a blog post on it, but there's a very clever way of not contributing to the problem the macro problem while still solving the local problem.
Right.
So that was good, because I've got one on my house and I always felt a bit guilty. I'm testing it. Seems to work.
Oh, good.
It's a bit noisy.
Oh, right.
And the monitoring software's shit house, but
does what improved, I guess.
Does what it's meant to do, which is get the voltage down locally. And yeah, I'll write a blog post about that because there's a lot of kind of technical things. But what was really interesting is that Edge Electrons have never actually advertised the fact that it does that. So there's a lot of people in the industry that think they're making the problem worse.
Yep.
But I don't think they've convinced me that they're not. Anything else?
Well,
one more quote, and then it's over to you, Ronald. Peter Coburn, who's an absolute battery legend from South Australia, good Adelaide boy.
Yeah.
He reckons that if you put the wrong battery brand on your house, the insurers are going to charge you more for your house insurance, like thousands of dollars more, because they've got so little confidence in some battery brand.
Yes, he gave a figure $5,000. Yeah, and also talked about disposal of batteries. Very few people are informing consumers that, you have to dispose of a battery, and that could be extremely expensive.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point.
Yeah.
If anyone's had to dispose of a battery, let me know. He gave a ridiculous amount for a large NiCad battery.
$5 grand.
$5 grand, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Oh my God.
Any products?
It's so weird. People pay you for a lead acid battery.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the scrap merchants.
Any products jump out at you?
No, nothing. Usually something does jump out at me. There was a bizarre, well, not bizarre, tractor deployable solar where they just provide a massive slinky of solar panels and you pull it apart with a tractor and you've got an instant solar farm set up.
Who'd use that?
People who are paying very low amounts of money for their solar panels and don't want to bother setting them up so they'll be at the optimal angle.
A very big backyard.
A very big backyard. But Australia has lots of cheap land, and solar panels are getting really cheap. So maybe it makes sense to economize on the orientation and so on.
I saw 2 products that I was excited about. One I already knew about. LG.
Oh yeah.
Finally brought out an inverter. A hybrid inverter. I have no idea how much it costs, but I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah, it's a hybrid inverter. I don't even know what power it is.
Yes, so LG make very high quality solar panels, and the other arm of the company, LG Chem, they make batteries, which are probably still Australia's biggest selling residential battery. But this is their very first inverter, and it looks like a fridge. It's all silver and shiny.
Oh, 8 or 10 kilowatts.
Oh, pretty big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's what it says here, if I've read it rightly. 3 MPPTs by the look of the diagram.
Ooh, so
beautiful shiny stainless steel, like a LG fridge.
Yep. So 3 MPP.
Yeah.
You can
3 of them.
You can have panels facing north, east, and west.
That's 3.
3 different directions. You can also do this with some other inverters.
So you can have LG panels going into an LG hybrid inverter going into a LG battery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
You think it'll be pricey?
Probably. I'll find out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure there'll be people who want it.
Marcus was busy talking as he does.
He's a champion.
Fronius Primo Gen 24 Plus, a single phase hybrid inverter from Fronius that they've only been promising for 3 years.
Yeah.
They reckon you'll be able to order them in July. I guess, you know, the thing about Fronius is they test the shit out of them before they release them, which is a good thing.
Yes.
It looks like a vintage speaker. Don't know if you can see that. I'm not sure about the aesthetics, but...
Yes. Oh, yes. Doesn't worry me, but I'm all function over form, which is hard to believe.
Works with, I think, an LG battery or a BYD battery.
Yep, that's right. LG Chem or BYD. Or the Fronius battery, but they're not really very common in Australia.
Anything else? Any observations about Sydney?
It's pleasant. Some rain. I like rain. It's good. A lot of people around. People look different than from in Adelaide. They're better dressed. But no, it's a nice place.
What are we doing tonight?
Eating pizza, I heard.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Should we do it?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.